World War I, also known as the Great War, produced many heroes whose bravery and skill have been immortalized in history. Among these figures, Wilfred Owen, a British soldier and poet, stands out as one of the most celebrated. Known for his poignant and powerful war poetry, Owen became a symbol of the emotional and psychological impact of the war. His story is one of talent, courage, and a profound understanding of the human condition. This video will explore Owen's life, his experiences during the war, and his lasting legacy. Wilfred Edward Salter. Owen was born on March 18, 1893, in Oswestry, Shropshire, England. He grew up in a middle-class family with his father, Thomas Owen, working for the railways, and his mother, Susan Owen, nurturing his early interest in literature and poetry. The family faced financial difficulties, leading them to move frequently, which exposed Owen to diverse environments and experiences. This frequent relocation shaped Owen's worldview and contributed to his depth as a writer. From a young age, Owen exhibited a keen interest in reading and writing. He attended Birkenhead Institute and later Shrewsbury Technical School, where he excelled academically, particularly in English literature. He was deeply influenced by the works of John Keats and Percy Bysshe Shelley, and his early poems reflected the romantic style of these poets. Owen's literary talents were evident early on, but his experiences of hardship and his observations of the world around him began to inform a more complex and nuanced approach to poetry. After completing his schooling, Owen worked as a lay assistant to a vicar, giving him time to write poetry and contemplate his future. This role allowed him the freedom to explore his literary interests, and he began to develop a distinctive voice. His poetry was deeply influenced by his observations of the everyday lives of those around him, as well as his own reflections on societal issues. His passion for poetry grew, and he aspired to become a published poet, but his ambitions were put on hold as the world faced the outbreak of war. In 1913, Owen moved to France to work as a language tutor. This experience broadened his horizons and provided him with a deeper appreciation for different cultures and languages. During this time, he continued to write poetry, refining his style and voice. The exposure to different cultures and the challenges of living abroad played a crucial role in shaping his poetic sensibilities as he began to grapple with more profound themes and developed a sharper critique of contemporary society. When World War I broke out in 1914, Owen felt a sense of duty to serve his country. The sense of patriotism and obligation that motivated many young men of his generation drove Owen to enlist. In October 1915, he enlisted in the Artists' Rifles, a volunteer regiment of the British Army. His initial training was rigorous, but he was determined to prove himself as a capable soldier. In June 1916, he was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Manchester Regiment and sent to the Western Front. Owen's experiences on the front line were harrowing and transformative. He witnessed the brutal realities of trench warfare, including the constant threat of death, the suffering of wounded soldiers, and the devastating impact of artillery and gas attacks. These experiences profoundly affected him and influenced his poetry, shifting his focus to the horrors of war and the suffering of soldiers. The stark contrast between the glorified image of war and the grim reality faced on the battlefield was a central theme in his writing. In January 1917, Owen was caught in a shell explosion and suffered from concussion. He was later diagnosed with shell shock, now known as PTSD, and sent to Craiglockhart War Hospital in Edinburgh for treatment. It was during his time at Craiglockhart that Owen met fellow poet Siegfried Sassoon, who became a mentor and close friend. Sassoon's encouragement and critique helped Owen develop his distinctive style and voice, transforming his poetry from reflective verse into powerful social commentary. Owen's poetry is characterized by its vivid imagery, emotional depth, and stark portrayal of the realities of war. His most famous works include Dulce et Decorum Est, Anthem for Doomed Youth, and Exposure. These poems convey the physical and psychological trauma experienced by soldiers, challenging the glorified image of war often portrayed in patriotic propaganda. His innovative use of language and form captured the essence of the soldier's experiences, making his work a significant contribution to war literature. Dulce et Decorum Est is particularly notable for its graphic depiction of a gas attack and its condemnation of the idea that it is sweet and proper to die for one's country. Owen's use of irony and powerful imagery forces readers to confront the brutal truth of war and question the traditional narratives of heroism and sacrifice. His ability to convey the visceral reality of war through poetry set a new standard for war literature and highlighted the gap between official narratives and the experiences of ordinary soldiers. Despite his traumatic experiences and fragile mental state, Owen felt compelled to return to the front line. He believed it was his duty to share the experiences of his fellow soldiers and bear witness to their suffering. In September 1918, he returned to active duty in France, demonstrating remarkable courage and resilience. His return to the battlefield was a testament to his commitment to his comrades and his desire to document their experiences. During his time back at the front, Owen continued to write poetry, drawing inspiration from the soldiers around him and the battles he fought. His leadership and bravery were recognized, and he was awarded the Military Cross for his actions during an attack on the German lines. His poetry from this period reflects his deepening understanding of the war's impact and his enduring hope for a future of peace. Tragically, Wilfred Owen's life was cut short just a week before the end of the war. On November 4, 1918, he was killed in action during the crossing of the Sambre-Oise Canal. His death was a devastating loss for his family, friends, and the literary world. News of his death reached his family on November 11, 1918, the day the armistice was declared, symbolizing the end of the conflict that had claimed so many lives, including Owen's. Wilfred Owen's legacy as a war poet endures to this day. His poetry remains some of the most powerful and poignant reflections on the horrors of war and the human cost of conflict. His work has been widely studied and anthologized, and his influence can be seen in the works of later poets and writers who explore themes of war and trauma. Owen's ability to articulate the emotional and psychological scars of war has made his poetry a crucial part of discussions about the impact of conflict on individuals and society. Owen's contributions to literature were recognized posthumously, and he is now regarded as one of the greatest poets of the 20th century. His work continues to resonate with readers and serves as a reminder of the enduring impact of war on individuals and society. His poetry provides valuable insights into the human condition and remains a source of inspiration for those who seek to understand the complex emotions and experiences associated with war. Owen's life and work have been commemorated in various ways. Memorials and plaques have been erected in his honor, and his poetry is taught in schools and universities around the world. The Wilfred Owen Association was established to promote his legacy and support the study of his work. This organization plays a vital role in preserving Owen's contributions to literature and ensuring that new generations continue to engage with his poetry. One of the most significant tributes to Owen is the Wilfred Owen Poetry Award, which recognizes outstanding contributions to poetry that reflect his themes and style. This award ensures that Owen's legacy continues to inspire and influence new generations of poets, celebrating his dedication to capturing the essence of human experience through his writing. Wilfred Owen's story is one of remarkable talent, courage, and insight. His achievements during World War I made him a legendary figure in literature and a symbol of the emotional and psychological impact of war. Owen's legacy continues to inspire and motivate, reminding us of the incredible feats that can be accomplished through determination and artistic expression. His work stands as a powerful testament to the ability of art to capture the most profound aspects of the human experience. Thank you for watching our video on the heroic story of Wilfred Owen. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more fascinating historical stories, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We'd love to hear your thoughts on Wilfred Owen's incredible journey, so feel free to leave a comment below. Your support helps us bring more great content to you. Until next time, keep exploring history and appreciating the voices that shape our understanding of the past.